Hey, good morning, Choice Residential. Hope your day's off to a great start. So, one of the questions that Ashley and I get quite often is about what documents are acceptable to provide proof of funds when either making or receiving a cash offer on a listing. And here's the reality: there is no set approved documents or anything that you have to have. In fact, there's no requirement to have proof of funds. It's just that as a listing agent, of course, you should be advising your sellers to get proof of funds before accepting an offer. And you should be telling your buyers that it's going to be expected of them to provide proof of funds, but it's not actually a contractual requirement. So when we're thinking about how do we demonstrate to the buyer, or excuse me, to the seller, that the buyer has the money they need to complete the purchase, well, you can do things like show bank statements where you redact the private information like account numbers and things like that that shows enough money to purchase the home. By the way, you don't want just by the skin of their teeth enough money. There may be some, they may have inspections or there may be some closing costs. You want to make sure they have sufficient money beyond just the actual purchase price to make sure they're going to get there on closing day. So it could just simply be bank statements. It could be a letter from a financial planner or wealth advisor or a bank executive. People who have substantial wealth often have other people managing that and can simply just generate a letter saying that they have in excess of a certain amount of money to purchase the home. So those are options. The other thing I want to just tell you, though, is that what really matters is the buyer putting skin in the game. So, for instance, if a buyer was paying $500,000 paying cash for a home and they give the seller a $50,000 due diligence fee, well, between me and you, I could care less what proof of funds you show me because for all I care, you don't have the money. And in a couple of weeks, we're going to terminate this contract and I'm going to keep your $50,000. So if a buyer is putting up a very substantial due diligence fee, then probably the listing agent and the seller can rest a little bit of easier knowing that that buyer is committed to the purchase. They probably wouldn't be putting up 50,000 non-refundable if they didn't have the means to purchase the home. Doesn't mean that you shouldn't still, as a fiduciary for your seller, get that proof of funds. But I wouldn't overanalyze, oh, they redacted some information and I want to know what it says behind it. Wouldn't make it such a big deal if they're putting up a lot of non-refundable money. So kind of think of that through that lens when you're thinking about proof of funds. There is no set of documents that is required there. It's just a logical thing that a seller is going to want to know that a buyer can complete the purchase. One of the ways for the seller to have that confidence is a large non-refundable deposit. So hopefully that helps give you some perspective if you've never dealt with cash offers before. And as always, if you have questions, you can always reach out to Ashley or myself. We're always happy to help. And until next time, take care.